Spring Eternal. Hello everyone, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, Richard Millett, and this is Spring Eternal. We hope that you enjoyed God's Gift. We love God's Gift. We're big fans. Alright, let us do this. Alright, if Bill Gates is okay with it, we can proceed. No child molesters here. This is a poem by Robert Olson. No, wrong. This is a poem by Charles Olson. Sorry. Robert Olson was a bitter old bastard who met a deserving end. After a day of bastards, I suppose it's not surprising. No, this is not a bastard. Quite categorically not a bastard. This is a poem by Charles Olson. It is called I Want to Know. We drink or break open our veins solely to know. Hunger drives me onward to feel all of the skin. The thrill of the knowing has me out of my brain. I want to know. Into our eyes, hundreds of flashes cause us to feel the life in the sky. I want to know. We drink or break open our veins solely to know. I want to know. I want to know. Please let me know. I have to know. I want to know. This is called Renaissance. If you saw the poster for tonight's performance, you'll understand how that all ties together. This is called Renaissance. Excuse me. Celebrate the Silver Age, the wonderful dawn, the dust from space, the transparent page, the grasp of discipline, possibilities unbound by definition, the reach of purposeful disassociation. The Silver Age, the cyclical start, the anti-doom, antidote to negation, and cynicism cloaked as intelligence, and laziness stealing from experience. Yes, the Silver Age, wisdom without citing a reference, ideation from the singular source, the interior physics married to open perception, divorced from pre-existing belief systems. Celebrate the Silver Age, the transfiguration of time made clear in the present, the gift of interdependent contexts, in the spirit of enthusiastic creation, leaning on the curve and leaving a set of fingerprints superimposed, adding another angle to the environment. This is from Sunrise on the Caina Islands. Some of you might know that one. This is called Submerging. My thoughts stop. My muscles go slack. I sink into the gray water. I rise, pick up shells, and see something inside. I see a spotlight bathed in cream, a turtle swimming slowly, and bioluminescent plankton out past the reef. I am not the follower. I have nothing to prepare for. I am not the leader. I've got no form. At this moment, I'm no one's son, except for my father's father's father. My head stays underneath. No new oxygen, but for the time being, I've got all that I need. I'm not the follower. I've got nothing to wait for. I'm not the leader. I'm just being born. At this moment, I'm no one's son, except for my mother, the clouds, the sun, the land, the water. All is one. All is one. I have come. All is one. Open reach. All is one. To infinity. All is one. Circle soul. All is one. Bird's beak. All is one. Silver seed. All is one. We have come. Sunset, but the day's not lost, sitting under the trees, gazing at the vast expanse. Palm fronds drifting down towards me in the lilting breeze, melted ice in my drink. If you can't remember the past, the same patterns will always last. Sunset, but the day's not lost, starting to slip into sleep, and watch my dreams without disbelief. But I drag myself off the beach, through the unseen black and green, and have a late dinner in the canteen. And I'm so glad we could take some time off in the tropics. I never thought we could afford it. The wind is hotter than it's ever been, and I'm not uncomfortable at all. The water pulls us in, and in my hair is a flower. Play in the sun. Push yourself into the quiet rays. The sun is so warm until the end of the day. I'm so glad we had this time in the tropics. So used to saying that you can't have nothing. The rain is coming quick. The cabana is empty. I can see leaves falling from the power of the storm. The hotel food is fine. The kids are running around the hallways. The sun is so warm. Enjoy the sand in your feet. Play in the sun. Play in the sun. Push yourself into the warm rays. The sun is so warm until the end of the day. It's called Tourist. And I can recall it all. I remember narrowly avoiding the serrated rocks, rain dripping down the mast. I stood and stared. My lungs were cold, made me breathe faster. My leg jumped in time, a sign of my exhilaration. I lost my name. That night my face changed. I was stronger, much stronger, after I docked. I'd walk by myself. I didn't need to talk. I'd lost the need to talk. I picked a plantain off the tree. I picked a pearl from the conch. Kept some coins, but gave away my paper money. I found a knife on the ground, saw my reflection in the blade. Nails grown long and my beard grown scraggly, my hair pinned at the back of my head. I waded off the shore and caught a fish with a sharpened stick, sliced off the scales, peeled back the skin. I quickly leapt over the sea snakes upon my return. Where should I go? Empty, without suggestion. Dry bathtub, antiseptic self, turquoise pottery, carefully washed, not included in collection debates, and can catalog itself. A black and white television crackling on the last analog signal, transmitting drip brush pixelation to friends who have never met before dawn with unbent antennas and tinfoil knobs. No larger connection and no network without notice or critical thought. Pure broadcast. Where should I go? To a cricket's lake where Mona Lisa and George Washington's Faces urgently run by on filmy soap transfers, until they burst into digital diagonal scribbles that shock sleeping bluebirds and hunting robins, where austere diagrams of skeletons are traced into colored chalk onto trees and oil sticks litter the walkways, where oysters recover jewelry fallen overboard and forgotten, where flashlights find glimpses into windows and fluoride is poured into jugs of cola. Where should I go? With a shopping bag full of batteries, returning a stolen bike to its parent company, walking in between unclean delivery trucks in need of repair, while raw-toned steel whistle air floats on wisps of strawberry hair, and accelerated voices and nonsensical 10-second annoyances, a magician perfecting an illusion which ends up with them curling and sliding down a tree, then pretending to be asleep while assessing what the crowd seems to think. Then a throne is carried on, seating a man in a parchment crown and wrapped up in beach towels. Where should I go? Into a kitchen with aluminum knives and nurses in white, lab coats and blue rubber gloves, rolls of tissue paper and unfolded T-shirts and personalized engraved nameplates. Where should I go? Knees to the chest, laying on the cool ground, scissors, heels pressed together, toes toward the sun, back to the cool ground. Damp handprint on mosaics. This is called 3% Profit. Waking up to the sun-soaked world in the eyes of a diamond, stretching out from a full circle, I was at a recital resting on a bed of feathers, and then floated to the front of the festivities. A Mercury step leaped through the lake and land in a leafy, soft meadow, my legs a blurring, winding wheel. My mom and dad hold out boxes. They walk together to an airplane, then climb up and run across the wings. Soon it's nice and quiet for me here, as we can plainly see. I tied a string around an anteater, as we can plainly see. The newspaper says it's better to have metal teeth, as we can plainly see, but I would rather bathe in butter, as we can plainly see. I nicked a little bit of hammer and nail on my way onto the helicopter. What I knew of physics sped up my entrance. Never seen the sky be so brave and wide, or thought about the joy in watermelons. And when I carefully left the step stool and went into the underground ice tunnel, I ran across a humidifier so the motor could keep my feet warm and not get harmed by frostbite. My eyes hide behind a pregnant woman's stomach while a laser rings into my ears. I try to open a case of sewing supplies, but to my surprise, the latch is bandaged shut. I breathe yellowed air and drink bubbling water and play with friends who live in the shower. I put a cold stream of thoughts in a brown paper bag and wonder where I can tap the telephone. I freeze my face in photos so that I'm not recognized while I page through my scrapbooks. The bugs and the cracks decline my invitations to dance, so therefore they're unwanted. I hiss into the sink until they crawl back so that my party can stay filled with levity and not too much gravity, so I paste my Polaroids all over the walls in geometric patterns and steal some dinner from my next-door neighbors as it's their fault for having given me a key. My sleeves festooned with pins and wind chimes dangle and jangle, announcing my arrival. Curl in the best nest with an arm that won't do you harm, an idol vibrating on a whirring appliance as we can plainly see, and soon I'm ready to eat, nothing moving suddenly as we can plainly see, and even sooner still time to sleep. Here's to a night of pleasant dreams and sleeping together as we can plainly see. This is called Venus. Venus waiting in a lake on the first day of spring glides past a pregnant crane and sees what the future can be. Venus waiting in a lake picked ripe fruit from the trees, pouring petals in the water, splashing along with her baby. The sparrow takes flight. Rise as it arrives. Venus sitting stringing pearls for her beloved girls. Walks to where she's sleeping on the deck, kisses her on the forehead. Venus swimming beneath the sun, can speak earnestly with anyone. The sparrow takes flight. Rise as it arrives. It's called Earl wrote this for Tobi. He needs to hear it now more than ever. Wrap my hair in a shawl, sitting deep in fall. My hands are cold and my knuckles look old, just like yours. The YMCA and Beautiful Day records, walking through Lyons, walking through Brookfield, on our way to the music loft, my creaking guitar case, lots of snow. Silent, fierce, and you were fully formed, the wisest without makeup, without intimidation, scratching carbon paper, telegraphing to the park, the swings are ours. Lots of rain. Dyeing your hair, black lipstick again, you wrote and I read every word and it all made sense. Some of it still does. My fingers got dark from the ink, vegan Rice Krispie treats I'd never eat, and between afternoon and evening, it got very solemn. We love ridiculing it. The crane lamp over my bed, when the depression would finally end, going to sleep, excited for the next day, completely calm, knowing we were special, staying up late to listen to By the Time I Get to Arizona, or How to Kill a Radio Consultant, or Lost at Birth, or Night Train, or 1 Million Bottle Bags, one more time. Waiting for a ride. We evaporate, we exaggerate. They'll never really understand. They didn't even like our band. Silver comes into my room, and I don't want to sleep anymore. Silver comes into my room. Silver comes in beautifully adorned. Sunrise on the Caina Islands, watching from the shore. Take a picture so I won't forget. Sunrise on the Caina Islands, drawing with my eyes. Save it so I won't forget. Azure bird observes the river in its shimmering glow. Ranulph finds walking across the soil while filming the sky. I don't see the bell, there must not be one. The lane and land both bend to shape the horizon. Sunrise on the Caina Islands is eclipsing time. Save it in a flash of light, drawing with my eyes. It's called Do You Kiss With Your Eyes Closed? We climb volcanoes only to embrace in the crater. For 100 years we hold the same rope. Do you kiss with your eyes closed? How does it feel to hold me closer? Are you certain that my name is Huxley? Does the bright sun lighten your hair? Do you plant trees on holidays? Sometimes I am, and sometimes not. Collecting seeds or securing knots. We're carried on panels and dive off rocks, tuning pianos in the mornings. But answer me quickly. I want to know. Do you kiss with your eyes closed? Through the missing bricks you can see a banquet table with a candelabra crooked from water-falling wax. On the other side of the missing bricks is a tablecloth with faintly gray claw stains left by mourning doves. Through the missing bricks there is a banquet table, heaving with indentations from apples, persimmons, cantaloupes, and pears. On the other side of the missing bricks there is a deer walking in the distance while a finger painting floats to the ground. Through the missing bricks there is a banquet table, with unopened telegrams and sturdy silver trays stacked up with books about the Enlightenment. On the other side of the missing bricks there is a pebble garden placed on a tree branch next to a mortar and pestle. Through the missing bricks there is a banquet table, lined along the bottom right edge with bowls of cold dandelion soup. Seated 45 degrees away from the banquet table is a man with a salt and pepper waxed mustache humming waltzes and complaining about the distortions of sounds and colors. 110 years old, and he doesn't know that electric blue can be beautiful too. I'm going to check on how we're doing. Okay, we're doing okay. Good. Fantastic. Alright, this is called Should I Go In? The silver pepper mill whispers to the hammer that she's an airport. And though she never really shows anybody, I still know that she's an airport. If you stop at her coffee shop, she'll charge you extra for a plastic top. The well-water ice cubes have heard this tale told before, but she's an airport. A zebra's chewing gum can confirm the reports that she's an airport. If you take off your shoes after the security stop, she'll throw them in the air and they'll land in the baggage cart. Run down the runway into the center of the day where the sun is pointing down to the ground. Reach all the way down to touch your toes and remember a story that you'll want to pass along someday. Run down the runway into the center of the day where the sun is pointing to the ground. Reach all the way down to touch your toes and remember a story you'll want to pass along someday. She's an airport and her father is a farm filled with corn stalks. Her mother is a candy factory spinning reflective baubles. She's an airport and her father is a farm filled with corn stalks. Her mother is a candy factory spinning reflective baubles. If I could implicate, if I could talk to you, I will some more. And just admirable, like in pictures and friendliness and outward inliness. Maybe I'm on the thrust of that. She dreamed she was a train draped in robin's egg lace, and she couldn't keep still in one place. She dreamed she was the only train running on the 4th of July, filled with whipped cream to burst and streamers to fly. She dreamed she was a train running past the impound lot, and after every platform on the route, she'd whisper, "I still love Phil. I always have and I always will. To know him is to love him, river deep, mountain high." She was sad when they closed the gates up at night. She dreamed she was a train ordered by the civil rights worker's favorite daughter. She dreamed she was a train, her earrings were flashing orange lights. She waved slow to the one car she'd stopped at the tiny suburban crossing, with one light shining down at 11 o'clock at night. Cop parked with their lights off on the other side. A train to get the tracks loose and rattling. Rattling tracks reminds her of those aunts and uncles talking over each other at her grandmother's birthday. 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 Birthday! How are we doing out there? Beautiful. This is called Frenzy. Alright, let's go. Honey, don't you tremble. Baby, don't you tremble. The way you get the frenzy, the way you get the frenzy. It's alright, come on up. It's alright, come on up. We got baskets, baskets of love. Come up here, baby. Come upon us now. Standing here trembling and singing, coaxing you with crazy words. It's alright, come on up. It's alright, come on. We got baskets, baskets of love. Finger in your ringlets when I hold the microphone. Pretty little girls all singing when I kiss the microphone. It's alright, come on up. It's alright, come on. We got baskets, baskets of love. Deep inside your Easter, when you feel my laser beam, screaming and I'm moaning with frenzy, batting like a primitive beast. It's alright, come on up. It's alright, come on up. We got baskets, baskets of love. We got the frenzy, 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 we got baskets, baskets of love. It's called Autolife. I got paid for by someone else, put through the turnstile twice, barely caught the 12:35 train, always trying to get on free, trying to get a ride. Just ordered a drink and a frozen popsicle. Just thought of 4 new stories to tell my friends. Can't help but think about the summer and how the night drives will never end, and trips to Rolling Stones. You don't bother wasting yourself, and you don't waste my time. You've got your beauty secrets all locked up, and even when you're homeless, you still look divine. And waiting for you to endlessly light your goddamn cigarette. I'm just gonna try to not think too hard and get myself all worked up. But the New York Funhouse is coming soon, and I can feel my veins course with lust for the heat, for the midnights, and I don't want to get too excited, so I'm gonna grab a cab and then give you a call. Anxiously wander for the next 4 nights until I crash into dawn. Out on the highway with another late drive without any speed lanes or gas, talking on the car phone, tanked on endorphins, and loving the fact that life moves too fast. This is called Cruelty-Free Heroin. When the Guardian goes mad, the sun rains against their eardrums, indistinguishable from Morse code tapping out on a copper plate. Yes, when the Guardian has gone mad, they're found singing love songs to tanks, draping staircases and flags, breaking car windows to decorate their faces with the glass. When the Guardian goes mad, they're captured pushing a pickaxe into an LED screen and detained for threatening to throw snakes at gas station attendants. When the Guardian goes mad, people suddenly remember to turn on AM radio and patiently follow guidelines before filing a full report, though there are always doubters and passers-by who start conspiracies, the usual being that this was a planned distraction. If the Guardian goes mad, they'll arrive at every awards ceremony with a mirror in hand and a ribbon under their chin and make demands to review the voting processes when they don't win or slap the host. If the Guardian goes mad, they'll rue the day they lost control of their relationships, getting into all sorts of entanglements, right, Will? Spending weeks hiring staff to bury paperwork they'll insist doesn't exist. If the Guardian goes mad, they won't light it for the look. All their meals shall consist of orange peels pulled from chain link fences. Oh my God. Orange peels pulled from chain link fences and burned coffee flavored with molded peach preserves. Though there are always doubters ready to offer an opinion of unverifiable proof, summarizing that death and maps are the only real measures of impact. You better fucking not. You motherfucker. Jesus. Unfucking believable. How are we doing out there? Are we even live? Looks like we are. Wow. We're just going to sit and wait. Wow. Unbelievable. We're still alive? Okay. We're just going to pick right back up. If the Guardian cracks up, they'll spend bleak days envisioning trees committing suicide, grandmothers doing crystal meth for the first time, and gnats smeared into toothpaste. If the Guardian cracks up, 7 strangers stuck in a bank will claw at each other to seek cold air in the vault and wait for their families and firemen to arrive and dig them out. If the Guardian cracks up, pirates will walk their own planks and devour themselves once they hit the water, thrashing back their gnashing teeth, running the seas red until hunter and prey are finally one. Ignorance! Arrogance! The pest control man said unto me, "When I was in Japan, I bought cherry bread in a can. I opened it with a knife and slid off the wrap, and the air bubbles stayed floating around in my mouth, and I rolled them around until I returned back to the West. Bliss, tolerance." The pest control man said unto me, "Sometimes my apartment building turns into a vending machine, and I get deposited out into the evening to provide goods and services for lucky couples with good taste and a few wandering dollars to rub together." It's the rabbit and the cowardly wolf. "Who cares?" An angry, ingrown sore, spreading red and silently whining. "The body? What body?" The published excerpts. Her body. In a brace of muscle spasms in her right bicep, she'd observe her pet rabbit in its cage and skip past the turn-of-the-century print in her father's office depicting a fox hunt. And yet, just 1 block away, another rabbit sat in the passenger seat, horribly embarrassed as the cowardly wolf got a breathalyzer and then failed to walk in a straight line. But back to the unnamed girl. I think it might have been Amanda or Amy. When one's head is round as a bowling ball and smokes their shame and presses bare-chested on saplings in the spring at dawn for an unobserved tiny tingle before the roll is called. Clearly mockery is uncalled for and exoneration is at a premium, especially in New York. But we will not allow for a violation of definitions, especially for one as important to this narrative as Amanda or Amy. No, 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 no. When the rabbit stepped down as the star of his own sitcom to attend to those personal issues there have been so many whispers about, the cowardly wolf suddenly was left without something to watch, emulate, idolize, sneak in a quick jerk during the commercials to, argue with, get enlightened by, surprised by, study, evaluate, grade, rate, review, proselytize on behalf of, display obscure knowledge of, and obviously whinge that it wasn't as good as the early years, and they would know, since he was there before whoever he wasn't impressing. But since no other show gave the cowardly wolf the flood of serotonin he craved so relentlessly, he grudgingly and pragmatically chose to watch reruns in perpetuity. And why not dress it up a little? For they could be revivals, or even better, celebrations. A new institution, a part of our shared experience, an ongoing, mounting heritage. The rabbit and cowardly wolf decided to intercept their favorite actor's private plane as he touched down the dullest airport you can imagine. The duo were hilarious to themselves. Is he wearing rayon? It's not like he couldn't afford Ultra Suede. After the actor greeted them with a few quick canned quips, he deftly inked 2 memories, and upon his departure the cowardly wolf chided the rabbit about mistaking the actor's autograph for a pictograph. As they later sat in the 50s diner, their root beers run flat, the jukebox unplugged by the owner. Who was that fighter who won a round without throwing a single punch? It wasn't Willie Pep. It was Muhammad Ali in Las Vegas in the first fight against Floyd Patterson. Robert Lipsyte said that Ali's performance was cruel, and that it was akin to a child picking the wings off of a butterfly or torturing an ant with a magnifying glass. Floyd Patterson was so ashamed of his performance he was obliged to go to Frank Sinatra's suite at the Sands and personally apologize. Sinatra refused to speak to him. Really, Ali was just doing the right thing and winning. Which one are you? An afterthought, welcoming back Amanda or Amy. He spent his first life as Alexander the Great. As Alexander the Great's chariot. He'd get upset when his action figures didn't eat the cucumber sandwiches he made. Amanda or Amy. I handed him my ovation, but it wouldn't play. Total silence. He gave it back, and I sounded like Segovia. He tried one more time, and it was like someone had pressed a mute button. I see that you've just wandered in. Would you like to give an account of yourself? The unclean offerings are an example of a permissive society, the long, thin membrane that seems to lead skyward. You are so well-spoken, and none of us would have noticed. Reverse gentrification. The committee smiles, the lead lawyer holding out a pen. The rabbit renews his contract. On this first project will be called, it's a mystery, called If Only You Were Innocent. Photographs, press conference, no disclosed details of the arrangement. He thanked his agent, Marty Weber, with a note and a fruit basket. The rabbit's people punched up the script with gems like, "Son, you're a born fact-checker, right down to the letter. I'll sell my secrets because I don't care." And, of course, the most popular catchphrase, "Seed on t-shirt." Only dogs try to understand things, now more than ever. Meanwhile, the Cowardly Wolf had disappeared for 4 days to investigate a garden. He had wanted to make a biopic about himself, but he couldn't secure the rights. The Rabbit and Cowardly Wolf slumped drunkenly against the back wall of their town, with only the moonlight reflecting off their wine bottle. Neither the Heroin butcher's wife nor the laborer pounding spikes shall but feel a rigidity known in the necks like the mechanic's racks that feels nor floats a lodestone on the banks betwixt a bell end and an alarm clock. Do you think it's wrong to contradict yourself? Seasick, since you are no longer allowed to enjoy a glass of water. The Cowardly Wolf mumbles a roar as that goddamn kid has taken his seat on the train again, off the rails with this wretched decade. Then the remorse, the introspective post-mortem, the fashion, architecture, music, media, technology, indecisive broad gestures, sweeping changes of the subject, conflating placating terminology with warm sentiment. The Cowardly Wolf appears to ignore the news feed. Deeply flawed, archaic, downright prehistoric, and dances over the line of self-parody so often you start to lose the ability to tell the difference, and also an obvious forced version of what he used to do so effortlessly. And personally, I really miss Amanda or Amy. The Cheltenham girl could make an appearance right about now. The Rabbit and Cowardly Wolf got x-rays together, paw in paw at the clinic. Nothing's broken, they just like the way their jewelry looks against their bones in the photographs. At the ballet, the view from the private box is undisturbed, and the Rabbit relaxes and holds a bucket of carrots. The Cowardly Wolf watches him gnaw. They bought tickets using pseudonyms and are wearing new suits with contrasting fedoras and little pasted-on beards. In between acts, the Cowardly Wolf yawns, "Must they always?" which the Rabbit doesn't hear, and then the lights go black. Cameo appearance. The Rabbit bribed a policeman, and the Cowardly Wolf crouch behind a bush filming it all, and while both are smart enough to accept that this is an inherently artificial medium, they can't stand exposition disguised as dialogue, or arbitrary structural decisions, or the limitations of the budget, or when some exec just wants to cast his nephew, who's really a good kid, really, he just needs a way to break in. Amanda or Amy, I have always had such a high opinion of you. Save your dignity. Don't call the press. Preserve the essence of drama, the command, the show that intermittently ends and begins. Standing shoulder to this is called red or green. Again, right? Standing shoulder to shoulder, their backs against the obelisk, which marks the exact center spot of their native island, Ellery questions why he accepted this invitation from Orla, a woman who used to only speak to him in passing, passive phrases, as her tousled, dehydrated blonde locks yank at the buckles of his jacket and her voice now exhales ringing sleigh bells. Up Main Street comes a loose approximation of a circle formation populated with drunken lorry drivers, whirling dervish dentists, pipe-wielding welders, and newly inoculated nurses who leer, howl, and rattle forks until they point and cry at planes flying by. Orla beholds this bedraggled throng with bemusement before her mind drifts to memories of eating escargot with her toes planted in sand while her parents reminisce on the phone with old friends. Orla turns to admire Ellery's posture and pictures what he might look like in the shower once he takes off that shredded shirt and those decaying jeans off. "Don't pay attention to them," Orla says to Ellery seconds after he decided to hold her hand. Orla relaxes and whispers, "We smell like the sun and our snow tastes like salt." And as the circle disperses, Orla and Ellery know all they have to do to get home is wander long enough. Oh, wow. You know, Bill Gates is having a hell of a day. He's having a red letter day. He's the best. This is called Shiroi. I signed the guest book to see who else had been in the room. There were only 7 other names listed before mine. One of them was your handwriting using a nom de plume. They baked bread, they baked cakes in honor of the decision, waiting for the door to open. Netanyahu and a boss took pictures from a delivery truck after they weren't invited in. I measured how fast the water filled the sink and hid my newly cleaned brushes and blades in the soil of a potted plant down the hallway. How could I still hear some voices echoing, free weights being dropped into a swimming pool? Why was the second name crossed out, sneaking around and pausing sighs? This is called Murasaki. Yes, I remember when you walked on the water. I remember thinking it was a trick of the morning. I remember a room full of hands stretched out towards you. I saw you open your eyes, wondering if you would ever repeat the moment. I remember when you walked on the water, and a memory is an object wrapped in monogrammed paper on a shelf. This is called Silber. I was quoted in your speech, but later you did not recognize my face. You broke my concentration with your fluttering interruptions. You asked if I wanted to dance, then passed me off to your date. The dust from your cracked gasp landed on the shoulders of my tuxedo jacket. I could not have expected the choir to pull out flutes and spend the night trying to find a tune to sustain a 21-part harmony. I could not have wanted a seat against the back wall where the wheels of the dessert cart kept rolling into me. How could you forget the poster of the pincher-nosed couple with the bleached flower countenance in gleaming jewelry and full evening formal wear, holding tins of caviar, boasting they brushed their teeth with lard? Oh boy. This is called Freshwater Fish. Gnawing gold leaf off the treasure chest hurts my teeth. It only ever rains in here. My lungs clench and heave. I would be foolish to describe myself, but I hate feeling weak. I enter a frame with no door as a sign of involuntary retreat. The paper in the book disintegrates next to me. I never know how far deep I need to be. It's a lie that the path to you is a street. You're in a cage. The flowers are surrounded by grass. I'm entrapped in the glass that I slam against. You have latches that you can flip, push over lamps until they fall and break. You can escape traps, laugh at knives. My true love faded with eternal life. Alright. This is called... I'm going to see how we're doing out there. Doing good. Hey, there we are. This is called Oliver Cromwell's Collage. 0 comes before the 1, 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 0 comes. The river will run, the birds will fly, the earth will turn, the sun will rise. Look at the field, the rivers and skies. Day will follow night, summer then spring. The streets will be swept. We will work tomorrow in the garden, in the building. Your voice was not made for stealing. Given art, negated by standards, negated by drama. Given thought, negated by delusion. Given sex, negated by sterility. Given choice, negated by industry. Negated by mania. There is no culture war. Those who vehemently take sides or stake their claim are playing a game not whose outcome has already been decided, but whose outcome is a continuation of the game. 0 comes before the 1, 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 0 comes before the 1. Stuck still fighting the same battles, the rage, exasperation, recurring pain. But it works both ways. Part of the reason the problems stay the same is the way the problems are constantly pointed at and deconstructed. The same approach, the questions constantly being raised, constantly being broken down to a children's daily reaffirmation is an equal factor in the stagnation. No retro, no retro, no retro, no retro, no retro, no retro. Fuck 1941, fuck 1924, fuck 1977, fuck 1984, fuck 1991, fuck 2008. No retro, no retro. Fuck 1929, fuck 2005, fuck 1828, fuck 1989. No retro, no retro. Fuck 1994, fuck 1996, fuck 1995, fuck 1978. No retro. No retro. No more retro. No more burlesque. No more detractors. No more marketing. No more unanimity. No more nothing. No more slavery. No more sterility. No more fascism. No more frauds. No more media. No more armies. No more factions. No more negation. No more lameness. No more cowards. No more manifestos. All the dinosaurs drank from the same place, same bacteria, same reaction to change. The mosquito contemplates the lake. Since it seems this view is infinite, and thus too vast to be narrowed down by logic, the mosquito feels panic until it switches perspective, and the lake becomes again something else, a mirror by which the mosquito can only contemplate itself. The mosquito sucking on the back of the dinosaur, its source of nutrition, its home. The dinosaur lumbers forward, stuck in a thought, only able to do what it was taught. The mosquito becomes bored of its host. The dinosaur is only left with a swollen sore. The insect on the floor, crawling, ran beneath my hovering hand, under a door. The insect then stopped, its voyage complete. The insect saw itself, a hero at peace, certain that my shadow would soon recede. The insect on the floor, crawling across the men's room at the rest stop, had a real shiny shell. Knelt down next to it, got a good look up close, and there was a fucking camera on its back. Started seeing my reflection in every surface, and though it was a beautiful scene, I immediately missed strip malls, parked cars, rushing water, Walgreens, and office blocks next to trees. I skipped sideways out of the exit and took a deep breath. 0 Zero comes before the one. Zero comes before the one. Zero comes before the one. All is 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 one. Nam Pravus. When you think you've thought enough, do the negation. When the past is safer than the present, do the negation. When irony is easier than reality, do the negation. When detachment is simpler than encouragement, do the negation. When you encounter inspiration, if there's an idea you don't understand, when you're uncomfortable, when you're inconvenienced, whenever you're irresponsible, do the negation. Everyone's right if nothing matters. Everything's fine if nothing happens. Do the negation, a joke within the suggestion. Do the negation, get the answers before the questions. Do the negation, control the level of conversation. Keep the situation as it is. See something wrong? Rein it in. Do what you've learned. Do what you know. Do the negation. Everything's right if nothing matters. Everything's fine if nothing happens. Your attention span is shot. You know that's not something you really cannot fucking brag about. Is there beauty in an expanse of land, or does it have to be manicured? Take a lawnmower into the forest? Is an animal only there to do tricks? Can a vegetable be pulled from the ground, or does it have to be processed? Can I write these words without being published? Does something need an industry to make it exist? The industry creates customs. Customs create patterns. From the patterns come the standards. The standards shift perception, ego, and judgment. The standards reach to nullify aberrations and contradictions to achieve a seamless definition. The result is negation. Everything's right if everyone receives the same fantasy and thinks it's their personal destiny. Everything's fine if everyone agrees to use the same machines and be more ordinary. The former soldier on death row knows in his private moments what led him to this circumstance, grasps what stunted his progress. He once followed orders in exemplary fashion. Now he sits in prison, no longer decorated, discharged, disgraced, and abandoned, and he says to himself, "When I kill for you, I'm rewarded. When I kill for myself, I'm exterminated." The crowd couldn't be more afraid. The crowd couldn't be more desperate. Nam verum. Have hesitations about his intentions? Do the negation. They're forwarding erroneous information. Do the negation. Can't devise their own language? Only can repeat verbatim? Do the negation. Imposing rules of debate, afraid of a dialogue, insists on petty confrontation? Do the negation. When they have no compassion, do the negation. No, they can only have reaction. Do the negation. When you doubt your own conscience, do the negation. She's been preparing for the birth of her child, reading through history and psychology. Her parents want to have the baby baptized, but she knows she doesn't need that to happen. She's been preparing for the birth of her child, to see it's raised smart and strong, to see it makes a contribution and not be intimidated by anyone. She's been preparing for the every day. She can't wait for her child to learn to speak. In the court, the judge declines arguments, admits what's permissible, dismisses ideas that are intangible. The judge's robe is albatross, festooned with cloves of garlic. He must instruct the jury. He must deliver his sentence. People who are 10 years old right now will have to find a new way to slip between the cellar bars. It's the beginning, creation of potential. The measures taken are irreversible, starting at zero, ending in a sum total. I want to see the sea. I want to be free. Open the ocean. Let me in. Wear glass masks. Open the ocean. Let me in. I want to be free. I want to be free. Open the ocean and then let me in. Wear glass masks. Open the ocean and let me in. I want to be free. I want to be free. Open the ocean and let me in. I want to be free. Open the ocean and let me in. I'm quite calm, I'm quite resolved. I know I've been correct since my birth. I've sought freedom from the power structure. I've never become a policeman or a slave. I am calm, I am whole. My contradictions are dumb and beautiful, cosmic and banal, abstract and literal, incredible and dull. I am unscarred, I am quite resolved. I love, and I'm quite calm. Bill Gates is at it again. Wow, he's having quite a day. I don't know how he does it, man. It's almost heroic. Wow, we are just... Who knew that basically doing nothing could be so complicated? Wow. Thank you, Bill Gates. You have truly marked my entire day. My entire day has been marked by you, and that is something. That was a little Bill. That was called a tribute to Bill Gates. This is a new one. This is we're putting out a lot of books. We already put out a compilation called Something for Everyone, just like this. This is Something for Everyone. You can see those are apples. You see, Something for Everyone. So. It's called Naked in the Sand. Standing in the shower, listening to the reporter recount the details of how he wrote the story in an interview. Silly things that were said, what you'd normally forget, we used to create what we called a forensic resurrection. Nobody knows how to tie the simple knots that I know. What they thought was evidence of a UFO were just streaks of antifreeze in the snow. The translation of what the guy was singing in the exhausted chanson was, "Any stick you want to beat me with is fine, I don't mind." They found him naked in the sand, Vaseline smothering his left hand. "Grab some goo." He'd already blown hundreds tipping strippers and thousands between room service meals and what could be called eccentric laundry requests. As a saint, he could not understand that how you spend one night does not determine your way of life. The reporter said, "One successful story can take as much as 3 years' time. He used his winnings to lease a car he named Spot, though when the divorce lawyer pressed him for specifics, he couldn't confirm whether, in fact, he owned it or not." Reverse gentrification. That's so stupid. Come on, man. A suede vest. That's what passed for journalistic integrity, I guess. They apprehended him naked in the sand while he was arguing with his bank about how much he was being charged by OnlyFans, his ignored lunch being consumed by birds and ants. The reporter said, "I'm only out for one thing." The pussy, the money, and the mic. Someone whose head is round as a bowling ball and smokes their shame before getting hung up on by two guys trying to look inconspicuous in new sharp suits, nattily dressed, and were obviously pasted on little beards. He stared longingly at the contents of his underwear drawer, wishing he had a black mask and could march with Antifa. He wanted to make a make donation calls on behalf of PBS and resented being stuck making crumpets and tea for BBC US. Unfortunately, he was fingered on the steps while his graduating class wept in silent disappointment, and the smoke poured from his uncle's calabash pipe. The said, "What in the hell did I do that for?" Then took another drink of his coffee that tasted like crayons, hoping to have some luck looking through locks. They apprehended him naked in the sand. At least that's what his longtime stage manager said. He was muttering, "If only I had a brain, a whole lot of trouble driving him insane." They found him naked in the sand demands in a country whose laws he couldn't understand, getting taken off past a trail of flashes, smirking at the twerking girls, making a fortune selling their asses. That's a lot of hijinks. It's a lot of hijinks. Now it's time to get serious. Though I guess we're not going to get serious. Oh, thank you, Bill Gates. Oh, where would we be without you? Well, I know where you might be without us. Actually, no. Actually, I don't know where you'd be without us. Still be getting traffic tickets, I guess. This is called The Skin Diver, and then we're clear the traffic and the flames. They're eating the meal I made. We've got another worry, screaming the sounds through my laughter. I think you just see the colors. You can feel I'm not mad. You're the jury, don't bleed again. You're the jury frightening me. What it is, it flashes at will. I'm gonna live! I saw a small cross on the wall. When I shook my head, I obeyed. When I borrowed, I craved the plaster I saw in the dark. My eye walked me into a strange corner. I nodded toward the look-alike, prowling the muck. You can feel I'm not mad. You're the jury, don't bleed again. You're the jury frightening me. That it is, it flashes at will, and I'm gonna live. Bells, bells, those are battling bells, automatic bells that no longer work at all. There is inadequacy and there is need. You've used the term saint, and anyone with a tenth of sense is irritated by your silliness and comparisons of sacrifice. To recognize. It makes me think you drink bourbon in secret and write past private letters praising the pastor's bloody-mindedness. Bells, bells, those are bleeding bells, automatic bells that no longer work well. I fail to comprehend your conviction to convert decent people who know nothing from sin to your reduction of an idea of what struggling actually is. You were the clothed one, the biblical one, fed on our feet, who stole attention and created waste to take affection and doctor the context and act like it was your decision to articulate who is mighty, who is the weak, and who is the perfectly paced. Bells, bells, those are passing bells, automatic bells that no longer work at all. Bells, bells, those are passing bells, automatic bells that no longer work at all. The knights prepare to charge, their armor melting in the sun. Their aim is to conquer the castle, only to find the castle is a few cubicles. After the rest of the tests, they release all of their patients out on their own reconnaissance. Washing off the blood, I saw the houses I could have broken into instead, corrupt the people inside, take pictures for my enjoyment. I smeared the plums on the wall. She asked me to bite into her calf, her kneecaps. It isn't right. Refinement is so right. It's pristine like diabetes. You can perform cremation by heart and your moods are easily apparent, and you can be allowed to get calmed down, and you can choose to hold your breath unless you want to suffocate. And I have heard so much about the light, and go to the light and spread the light, but I know the facts, and I've read about transferring perception, and people attach their needs for benevolence and protection, and I have learned the light is a result of know how to function. The light is a result of tension. This is Buster. Yeah. You know, people whose names are like ours. Just seeing if we're all on track. For Tuesday, John is coming with me. He did an inventory. And his supplier is slow right now, so it makes sense. Okay, Lynn, I got a customer in the store right now. Gotta go. Bye now. Now! Here is now ecstatic in this cloud, the blue bliss of fresh sleep, the voicings of cardinals, the streamers ascending freely through the space, around. Now it is transformed into cells and sun particles, encircling germination in mountains, facing carnival, carrying hurricanes down to land, then bringing back up, dispensing horses and teacups throughout the sky, golden gloves over hands, now, now! Telescope face is examining the lightning-striped columns and accumulating figures and the depth of field and the range of solutions, compiling reports concerning continuity and loss of gravity 1% by 1%. The swimmer becomes the extinguisher. Beads of water cling to her skin. She replies only in questions and makes it her point through her opponent's confession. The extinguisher sterilizes the pool at the end of each event. The dictionary turns back to a plant. The vendor becomes a sculptor. Now, in space, eating cherries through the layers. We travel diagonally, drinking milk next to the blue star's equator. We want to be blue, but we're totally green, totally carbon, and made to breathe. Now. Each grain pulls the fabric close and paints a background of rounded skin and wooden boards that hold 3 or 4. The swimmer doesn't starve. She turns at Neptune, starts to feel her face, savors the taste of chrome in the atmosphere, folds her legs, sees the wooden boards that hold 3 or 4, and uses them to push off and propel her closer to the destination. Now. Telescope face enters the stratosphere, collecting the boards that hold 3 or 4, charting the usage for reference in a later compendium of the swimmer, and stares at his arms dissolving in the air, replaced by cables and plugs and a motor to a system, and hurtling faster, folds his legs to his chest and starts pushing to the penultimate location. This is called Space Filter. Back to hijinks. He was one of those fuckers with a television face, long, thin membrane fingers, 4-foot legs, and gray veins. You could see the channel change when his skin was peeled. His accent was badly pixelated. Tornadoes flowed in from old movie posters. They love like miraculous, spiking the water supply. She reads her monthly statements and hopes she'll get a surprise. She wins a hula hoop contest and sprinkles talcum powder in her eyes. Lies when interviewed in a sterile room by a king and queen without a kingdom, crown and jewels festooned in a barren womb, carriage wheels on layaway. Her pussy is waxed on the 10th moon. She threatens to sue over any ingrown hair. She bites the head off of sparrows on morning runs, then heels over and gets the warning lights from a flashing school bus. They love like spray DDT into a restored chapel. She urinates, then masturbates with the corner of a biography about Ivan Boesky. Dr. Weather surveys the results and reports to the board. After careful observation and consideration, she finally found the holes in the thinking she'd been hiding, and that's when I knew she was pretending. She was pretending to understand. She was pretending to be a man. Dr. Fran makes a casting call. They talk in breathless circles about a saxophone player who cannot take the horn out of his mouth. They stand under the paisley awnings in the spring sun, and they go up and up and up and up. They pay attention to what the sky tells them. They have regression therapy from the bottom of the ocean. She says to Dr. Fran, the ocean is the most wondrous, large, indefinite amount of all. The ocean makes Dr. Fran shiver. Does it make him shiver? Does he believe that the water will withstand his rubber raincoat? She complains to Dr. Weather, the water is dry beyond belief, to which Dr. Weather replies, down, 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 into the darkness of the water he slides gently, the wet wetting the scorpion palms. Gently it goes. The numbers fall and rise. The checkerboards need companionship. The wondrous pigment of the ocean ever changing. She is destroyed. In a moment she immediately forgets. Dr. Weather regrets never answering his phone. Dr. Fran mourn the lonely little large lake. She comes on the faucet and asks, does the lake make you shiver? Does it? He sees the billboard that sicken him despite his noblest ideals. Dr. Weather comforts him that it's all right to get sickened. Why would you think nautical navigation is neutral when navigation is the wettest waterfall of all? Down, down, down into the tangled purple of the pigments. Gently it goes, tearless and quite possibly painless. Love God, not worship money. Thank you. You guys got any requests? This is called room service. They arrive every year at this time. They put swimsuits on, they tell jokes, and get the punchlines wrong. We set up the continental breakfast and watch the elevators come down. Before the wake-up calls, we're cleaning the halls. The tables are heavy. We vacuum the lobby. The rest of the morning, we're washing silverware and folding towels. I have to work a double tonight. I'm tired, but I don't mind. At least I'll get some overtime. But by 9, it seems like this shift will go on forever. Because it feels like I'm living in a non-stop dream. The lights are always on. I can't sleep or run away because I'll get in trouble. I can't believe they stiffed me on a tip. I carry their luggage to the street. This is real, so bite my lip and don't ever look back. Don't ever look back. I get so frustrated when they ask me to repeat things because of my accent and then say, it's so cute the way you speak, and I have to listen to some woman complain about the thread count of the sheets. I don't want to work tonight, but I really don't have a choice. I have to make what I can now because I won't be young forever. Because it feels like I'm living in a non-stop dream. The lights are always on. I can't sleep or run away because I'll get in trouble. I can't believe they forgot to fill the pool with chlorine. Second time this week. Not my job, but they still complain to me. This is real, so bite my lip and smile politely as I can. Yes, I understand, ma'am. My heart really gets racing when their kids throw things. I can't wait to go home tonight, but it'll be okay, because it's either this or the spoon factory, and I can't wait to go home tonight. And this is called, Rubber Buttons. Let's go! My shoelaces are undone, which means someone likes me as much as I love to see a basket of swinging snowflakes. My shoelaces are undone, so I throw them next to a trunk full of styrofoam tongues and a person who dropped them yells, "Thank you!" The first person in the castle has the obvious advantage if they wish to scrape their fingernails against century-old windows. They can concentrate vacantly about being unfailingly polite and insisting their hands are made of the same sand as found outside on the beach. They know there is no joy in failure for their friends, and that the fun and restoration only happens once the work is done. The second person in the castle has obvious ease with boldly seizing treasure only they can see through a fizzing camera lens. They can research quietly while having no qualms about their ambition outstripping their abilities in assessing gaudy antiques. They know there is no lemon rich enough in sourness to let their taste get challenged into swallowing insects in soiled tents. The third person in the castle has the obvious edge when turning their profile to face the east in hopes of repairing a table leg. They can dutifully saw and sweep the dust into the bin until the bell sounds for them to begin slicing vegetables up in the kitchen. They know there is no creek deep enough to keep them from molding jellies into a series of perfectly semi-translucent wedges. I want brass buttons for my cousin because I could not count for cufflinks. They counted for me. Because I could not look for light bulbs, they looked for me. Because I could not dance for diamonds, they danced for me. They realized the chateau has the clear advantage as the place to evaluate flashy antiques. I want brass buttons for my cousin, but I make the rubber buttons I wear for myself. While I sew, I look at the library and remember each of my most memorable finds. I want brass buttons for my cousin, but I make the rubber buttons I wear on my jacket. I buy the materials from the tan-toothed man who sold my mom a gold vision box. I want brass buttons for my cousin, because when I preach with the collar, it preaches with me. I want brass buttons for my cousin, because when I move with the minnows, they move with me. They realize the chateau has the clear advantage when evaluating flashy antiques. Let's go! That's alright. My shoelaces are undone, so I only walk sideways and photograph a plum purple terracotta corner with a flag with a price tag digging out of it. That's hard to know. My shoelaces are undone, which means someone likes me as much as I love wearing an apricot ascot while hearing stories about Korean camping sites. The first person in the shower can brighten their senses by energetically exchanging sunglasses and hairstyles. Once safely ensconced up at the top, they can cheerfully sing along with anything, though they prefer Caruso and Ragtime to songs they don't know. There is usually a fixed point up in the distance for them to focus on things such as a helicopter or a hawk taking off shortly after dawn. The second person in the shower can loudly shout, "How I love my girl," which echoes back so overwhelmingly they can think that they're in a private booth. They can detect the scent of her hair, the scent of her shampoo in the wind, and look down to see her looking up and running towards them. There is normally an iron staircase nailed in 40 years ago, which serves as the one modern addition to the edifice. The third person in the tower can tell endless jokes over dinner about the rabbits they saw nipping chocolate from their mother's open purses. They can wear a layer around their necks which contrasts sharply with their pinstripe sport coat and tartan flat cap. There is always a sauna where they can fall asleep underneath a slippery painting of their father all dressed up as a captain. My shoelaces are undone. They lay beneath the warmth of the sun. This is a true depiction, recited with excellent diction. Watch go! And now I recall the memories. And now I recall other memories. From walking around the castle, the humidity kept at bay, clouds letting loose only hints of rain, and vines intertwining across each other, and each new flower that blooms, another gift for the dozens of bees in love with the newness of June. It's all on top of my eyes. The curious sage in an orange and brown dashiki, standing before a statue of the stripped Christ, arms open and hovering, all on top of my eyes, lithium batteries in between her teeth. She holds a screwdriver dipped in green paint as she walks over underground cables in between her toes. All on top of my eyes, she staves off headaches with gallons of water and sleeping when she can. All on top of my eyes. The swirls of excitement are just one continued drone. Close concert of ideas, stretching fingers. You did a great job today. Devoted. Seriously. All on top of my eyes. One wonder. One today. And that, my friends, has been Spring Eternal 2. We hope that you've enjoyed this. We will be back next week. And hopefully we will have all of our weird technical issues, which we had zero control over, worked out. Until then, thank you very much for joining us. We hope that you've enjoyed this. And, we will be back next week. All right. Goodbye.